Hey, it's Mike Brennan, and we're back on MITech TV, another segment. This time we have reaching to our friends on the west side of the state, Jennifer Owens, who is president of Lakeshore Advantage. Last week, I received a press release talking about how West Michigan business growth may be hinging on such things as advanced energy storage and material manufacturing production. So let's talk a little bit about that, Jennifer. Give us the details on that.
Yeah, high five over there to my East Side friends. It's good to see both of you again. And we're really excited to have this report, not only Lakeshore Advantage, but our partners at Greater Muskegon Economic Development Corporation and the Right Place came together first to look at what do we have in terms of alternative energy storage from our existing companies, and then help our manufacturers understand the opportunities in advanced energy storage so they can continue to evolve and grow. Really what we found overall is that Michigan and West Michigan in particular is really outpacing a lot of the nation in terms of advanced energy storage growth. And in West Michigan in particular, we really had companies throughout all of the 6 stages that we see advanced energy storage manufacturing to take place. And so there was a lot of opportunities, and we're excited about sharing this data with all of you.
Matt?
Okay, so give us the highlights. What does the report show?
Yeah, so the report really shows that as a state as a whole, we are in the top 5 in terms of advanced energy storage growth and opportunities. In West Michigan, we're really anchored by 2 major advanced energy storage companies. The first one is LG Energy Solution that we have right here in Holland. And they will be investing roughly $3 billion into their lithium-ion manufacturing plant. They're underway right now to have over 1 million square feet of manufacturing. The second kind of big anchor that we see up and coming is Goshen. It's a Chinese-based lithium-ion manufacturer as well, and that will be in Big Rapids. But in addition to that, we have companies who are making the next generation of advanced energy storage from sodium ion to recycling the products as well. And so when you're a company looking at this opportunity, especially if you're in auto, the growth is really huge when it comes to this industry. As you all know, by 2040, the majority of vehicles in the US will have to be electric vehicles. And so now is the time for any of our manufacturers looking at that opportunity to go deep and see what's out there for them.
So, how are the various economic development groups working together? That's usually kind of unusual, but normally they're competing. But in your case, they're all working together. So, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that I guess the notion is we are competing, but really in West Michigan, and I would say in Metro Detroit too, we have a lot of regional partnerships. So I'm part of a 13 county region, of which I represent 2 of those counties in West Michigan. And so when no companies are looking to expand or grow, they look at a region. They're not looking at a county or a city. And so as a region, we have to understand our assets. And so this advanced energy storage framework shows us what our assets are as a region and allows us to market as a team or individually to companies who are looking to expand. And so we have a lot of ongoing partnerships with other economic development corporations in West Michigan, but throughout the state, because we know we're stronger together as a group. There are times that we do certainly compete, and we want to compete to win for our region, but most of the time we're all team West Michigan or team pure Michigan when it comes to working with international and national companies.
So one of the things that's really important in this field, as in most others, is workforce development, making sure you have a trained and skilled workforce ready to work in these industries. So describe how your the region's higher education institutions are getting involved in this.
Yeah, and that was a key part, is looking at higher ed, what we already have. And then our next phase might be looking at what are the gaps. And so what we already have is Ferris State University, who has an advanced energy storage battery technology and production program in Big Rapids. Grand Rapids or Grand Valley has this new blue dot, which is to grow information technology and technology professionals. Michigan State has chemistry laboratory. And then our community colleges, Grand Rapids Community College and Muskegon Community College, both have certificates in either battery or alternative energy. So the good news is the education is there, but we want to make sure our education providers are part of what's next. And so maybe a lot of the education programs have been based on lithium ion. We see sodium coming on board. And so our goal as economic developers is to educate our educational institutions on future trends and what we see and how the curriculum might need to change. And so we continue to work on that regularly, but we have a lot of great strides forward with our higher ed already looking at this space.
One thing I've noticed is I just have a traditional college degree, and Matt does too. I mean, I don't know what his was in. Mine was in political science, right? I was going to be a lawyer. But what I'm seeing is a lot more vocational aspects, as it were, where employers are coming to junior colleges or colleges and saying, you know, I just can't find people with these skills. Can you develop programs along that line? And I know LTU, I'm giving you a plug there, Matt. So LTU on our side of the state does that quite a bit, right?
Right, absolutely. We, especially in healthcare, we're getting more and more involved in specialized healthcare certificate programs and two-year graduate programs in very specific skill sets that are required by the healthcare industry.
Right. So
Yeah,
I
I would say Centropolis over there at Lawrence Tech, we've brought them to West Michigan to educate us on Industry 4.0 and the work they're doing in automation.
Right.
And it's been incredible. So Lawrence Tech is really kind of leading the way on that hands-on education. Sorry, Mike, what were you going to say?
Yeah, well, I'm just getting to my point. What it sounds like is a lot of the schools, colleges, whatever, junior colleges, community colleges. I went to Grand Rapids Junior College. I know it's called community college now. So a lot of those are really becoming more, I don't know, vocational school might not be the right description, but adding more vocational elements, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at future careers now, probably half of the positions today will be eliminated in the next 20 years, looking at artificial intelligence and other technologies that are coming online. So how do you get that hands-on just-in-time training? And you usually go to the community colleges or higher ed to develop that for you. And companies, although they can develop training programs on their own, they'd much rather contract with our university or community college programs to provide it. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there's great opportunities in those VOTech positions, but I think any of us who are adults right now, we're going to have to be continuously learning and becoming educated because the world is changing dramatically. And so if I said, you know, I'm done learning, you know, I'm going to be out of a job very quickly. So yeah, the higher ed and community colleges are a huge resource.
Now, there's been some concern, not so much with LG because that's a South Korean company. There have been some concerns with some of the battery manufacturers being tied to China. In fact, there was a recall of the township government near Reed City about that, if I remember right.
Yep, Big Rapids. Yep. Mm-hmm.
How are we addressing those concerns?
Yeah, and I think certainly it's a careful balance that you want to make sure communities are embracing whatever companies we bring into our region. So that was our partners at the right place. But, you know, they first reached out to the township supervisor, making sure this is an industry you want and, you know, that you want to grow and then it fits with the zoning criteria. So most of that land was actually already industrial and was in a business park. So part of our goal is to make sure what we're bringing is what communities want. Now, there are cases where an existing group of elected officials wanting something and the community doesn't. And in that case, you know, then other elected officials come to the table. But I mean, the fact of the matter is most of our Asian companies are far ahead of the US when it comes to advanced energy storage technologies. And so if we want to play in that space, we have to bring those investments here and welcome companies from all over the world. But yeah, that's, you know, it's a balance. It's a smart trying to find a company that's a good fit for the community and make sure they embrace each other.
And I until I got this press release. I didn't realize that you had so much advanced energy stuff going on over there. I mean, I grew up in that area, but I haven't lived over there in 10 years. So, is that really building over there? Is that becoming a hub for advanced energy? I know you
Yeah,
mentioned those different projects, but beyond that.
I know. Feel free to come for a visit. We'd love to tour you around, but it really was probably about 15 years or so ago with LG first citing their investment. And then it's been a cluster for us for about 15 years. So intentionally growing it over time, making sure our education partners are part of that as well. So when we look at the growing clusters for West Michigan, it's advanced energy storage automation is a huge cluster for us, and then food processing. We make things in West Michigan, and we design and engineer them, but we make a whole lot of different kinds of things. And so one of our organization's core values, but I would say West Michigan's core values are always evolving. And so we're evolving to the next product, which it's advanced energy storage, it's robotics, and it's food really for us, and all kinds of value add food products that we see growth for us in the future.
So several of these companies I've never heard of before. If you could, give us just sort of the real brief Cliff Notes version of who they are and what they do, I'd really appreciate it. What is
Yeah.
Volta Power Systems, Natron Energy, and Jolt Energy?
Yeah, so Volta Power Systems actually manufactures lithium-ion batteries for RV and specialty vehicles. So they've retrofitted automotive technologies to allow that to be used in the RV industry. It was actually former Johnson Controls technology that was on the shelf, and a group of leaders purchased that technology and built a business out of it. Natron Energy Storage is, I talked about sodium-ion energy solutions. This is a startup out of California, which is now producing their product for the first time. And they moved into a portion of Clarios manufacturing facility and took over that. Clarios, which Johnson Controls spinoff, actually has a stake in this company as well, and saw that as the next generation. Jolt Energy Storage is actually a startup that kind of came out of Michigan State University, and they're working on a chemical product that can allow smart charging of lithium-ion batteries. So you can charge in a way that's efficient for each one of the cells. An ATC drivetrain is really repurposing and recycling, which we think, if you look at our stages for advanced energy storage, one that we don't have a lot in Michigan right now is the recycling of the batteries. And that's not an easy thing to do. And so they're taking that on.
Well, I love hearing about locally owned startups and spinoffs and spinouts of university research. The latter is particularly near and dear to my heart. Working for a university, just seeing university research turn into jobs, I think, is one of the coolest things about being involved with a university.
Yeah, and I would say, our university partners are so key, and I feel a lot of our universities are taking strides forward with getting more of an entrepreneurial mindset for their professors and their students. And when you think of young people today, I mean, I saw a study about half of young professionals want to work in a startup or start their own company. So if we're not encouraging that entrepreneurial mindset at our universities and helping them achieve their goals, we're going to lose students, and we don't want to do that. So great partnership in the startup space with our educational institutions.
Okay, so if people want to get a copy of this report, where do they go? How do they get a copy?
Yeah, so LakeShoreAdvantage.com is our website, and it's in the news section, and you can download it there as well. Lots of good information on the future of advanced manufacturing or advanced energy storage, not only in West Michigan, but the entire state of Michigan. So I definitely think it's worth a read for your viewers.